All right, greetings. Welcome back to Blackburn News, where everything is connected. What's going on? Sorry, I'm a little bit late. That's life. What can I tell you? Things happen. But I'm here now, and good to see everybody on Rockfin. We are live on Rockfin, Callin, and on YouTube at the moment. I think so. People keep telling me that my sound is only coming out of the left. I don't know. I should be in stereo. It's telling me that I'm in stereo sound, so I don't know what to say. If it's still coming out of only the left speaker, I apologize. For the people that say there's no sound, a lot of people leave comments on YouTube like kind of screaming, "There's no sound." There is sound. It's just on one channel. But if you don't have any sound, you wouldn't hear me tell you that. So, but also if I'm talking for many, many minutes, 10, 15 minutes, and it seems like people are watching my video, there's probably sound on the video. I'm just pointing that out. But I appreciate the heads up. Anyways, let's get into some things real quick, because I started late. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to go late. It means I have less time to cover all the things that I wanted to cover. Basically is what that means. If you are having audio issues, please, give me a heads up. I'm not trying to tell you not to tell me it doesn't have sound. I'm just saying, to the people that say there's no sound, there is sound. It's just on one channel generally. Or try, default to figuring out if it's your own setup first, and then maybe. Okay. Cool. Getting some people kind of falling into the YouTube chat. Hello. Right. Try mono, try unidirectional, right. Where did everyone's pre-show chats go? I don't know. I have no idea. Honestly, so to the YouTube people, I'm here on YouTube. And I can't make any promises about how long I'll be here, but I also have to say it's YouTube, and YouTube likes to just do whatever they want to do, right? And so I'm not paying a lot of attention, honestly, to YouTube. And that's why I'm not really responding to any comments on YouTube. So I'm doing the show. You guys, I'm glad that you're here and you're jumping in the chat, but I'm not really hanging out on the YouTube page. What's going on the YouTube? I don't know. I have no idea. Anyways, let's start with this from XR Cambridge. From XR Cambridge, the fossil fuel funded right-wing press and think tanks, they said think tanks, which is actually kind of funny, understand that the next few days are a seriously teachable climate moment. They are going to flood the zone with shit to seed doubt, denial, and wishful thinking. Get on your game, people. This is a great tweet because they are pointing out that the denialism is strong. The denier, people are out there. I have something cooking. I have something cooking in that general vicinity. I'm not going to say anything about it yet, but I'll let you know more about it as it evolves. But The deniers are out. The denialist language is out. And you know that this narrative, this denialist narrative, is something that was cooked up in a think tank, right? So when I see people repeating this that are very smart people, who are people who are generally interested in the truth and whatnot, I am flabbergasted that they are repeating things that were cooked up in a neoconservative think tank or funded by the fossil fuel industry. I'm absolutely aghast and amazed. You know, people that I generally like in real life or hang out with or generally share a lot of their views. When they get to that part, I'm just like, man, they got you good, didn't they? They got you. Anyways, let's look at some of this, not that, denialist rhetoric or obfuscation, I guess, on mainstream media. This is from Britain. This is an very interesting exchange here on a British television show, and they're talking to John Hammond, who is a meteorologist. And the quote on this tweet: meteorologist John Hammond stars in the latest UK remake of Don't Look Up, the Heatwave edition. Listen to what they're going to say. Yeah, it's, you know, it kind of flies in the face of like the whole "they're doing it to you guys," that flies in the face of that narrative, that rhetoric. They're trying to push you into this climate agenda. Well, maybe, but it doesn't seem like they're doing a very good job, because even on mainstream TV, they're like, they don't say anything. They're like, how about that heat? Oh, that's awful hot. Whoa, we have a lot of storms. Wow, another 1,000-year flood. Wow, that's crazy. And then move on. Move on. Kind of like the people that are like, they're going to, this climate change thing is a hoax. That's, and, you know, no evidence, no data, no studies, no person, no doctor, no engineer, no climate scientist, no nothing, right? No, you know, they just move on. Seems like a pretty rock solid agenda there. Anyways, let's listen to this.
Enjoying the sunshine. It's not too hot, is it?
No, it's absolutely lovely. It's 20 degrees out here. It's perfect. But on a serious note, folks, by early next week, you can scrap 20 degrees. It could well be 40 degrees. I think there will be hundreds, if not thousands, of excess deaths next week. The charts that I can see in front of me are frightening. So we all like nice weather, but this will not be nice weather. This will be potentially lethal weather for a couple of days. It'll be brief, but it'll be brutal.
Oh,
so,
John,
you know, we can...
So, John, I want us to be happy about the weather and everything. I don't know whether something's happened to meteorologists to make you all a little bit fatalistic and harbingers of doom. Because all of the broadcasts, particularly on the BBC, every time I've turned on anyone's talking about the weather, they're saying that there's going to be tons of fatalities. But haven't we always had hot weather, John? I mean, wasn't the 76, the summer of 76, that was as hot as this, wasn't it?
No, and you know, we are seeing more and more records, more and more frequently and more severely. So yeah, some people always hark back to the summer of 76, which was a freak event 40 odd years ago, over 40 years ago. But heat waves are becoming more extreme. This is yet another one which is coming down the tracks towards us. And you know, I don't think we should be too light-hearted about the fact that many are going to die early next week because of the heat. 40 degrees, the sort of temperature that this country, I'm afraid, just not geared up to cope with.
Oh, you see.
All right. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys couldn't see that. Boo, my bad. But you could hear it. I'm not going to play it again. You could hear it, and the call-in people hopefully could hear it. Just be happy about the weather. Really. I mean, you have the luxury of saying that now, but there will be a time. There will be a time when people don't have that luxury. And what about people in other countries that don't have that luxury, right? People whose crops are failing, people who are suffering through the heat, people that understand that there was a graph there, a statistic on the video saying that in 1976, she said in 76, wasn't it as hot as this in 76? So it was a freak event. There were 20% more deaths. I even actually go back to someone that Ryan Christian, I can't remember this doctor's name. He's interviewing a doctor from, I believe, Canada, who was talking about excess deaths. He even indicated on Ryan Christian's show that some of the deaths were attributable to heat. He's like, what's been happening is it's actually been hotter, and in some of the places in the South, we're seeing these excess deaths, possibly tied or linked to heat. And that was very interesting because Ryan Christian just swam right over that. He was just like, oh, okay. Anyways, and I was like, wait, hold on. Hold on, this doctor on your show that's giving you data and evidence, you're like, I love your data and evidence, except for when it doesn't fit my narrative. And then I just completely gloss over it. I completely go, well, anyways, moving on. And that's very interesting. Anyways. And to go back to the John Campbell video that I was playing yesterday, we were talking about other reasons for excess deaths, right? Amount of deaths above the norm, but how many of those excess deaths could possibly be tied to heat, to excess heat? Or the unspoken one, excess UV, right? UV combined with heat, probably producing like greater heat or more serious outcomes. And nobody's talking about UV. How many excess deaths could be linked to heat? To the rise in temperatures, global rise in temperatures. It's, as I referenced, this doctor who said, we attribute some of these excess deaths to heat. The doctor I was talking about that was on Ryan Christian's show. I'm sure it's somewhere in there, right? It's somewhere in the mix. It's not everything. It's not, right? It's not everything. It's not nothing. It's somewhere in there. But if you're somebody who's, being honest and actually willing to look at data and evidence, you have to acknowledge that something is going right. We do have higher temperatures. We do have, this once gradual rise in temperatures now becoming more of a, temperatures have gone up quite a bit. We've broken a lot of records in the last 4 or 5 years on all fronts. Temperatures, storms, floods, drought, fires, etc. Ice melt, blah, blah, blah. Gene on YouTube says Madrid, Spain is in its 5th consecutive torrid night, a term used when temperatures do not fall below 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, and then you can't, when the temperature doesn't go down enough at night to allow people to cool off and regenerate some energy, that has a cumulative effect on people. Just like the cows that died in Kansas. That's science. That's just science and physics. That's how that works. Anyways, let's move on. That is that's very interesting. From Peter Dines. It is also very hot here, guys. So when it gets really hot, my computer struggles, and you all know this. But we started the day at a very high temperature. It's already pretty warm. Peter Dines, agriculture cannot survive at 50°C plus soil temperatures for very long. Civilization cannot survive long without modern agriculture. Connect the dots. On current trajectory, this doesn't end well. Yeah. So, I don't know. The other thing that I have to say about the denialist narrative channels is that they never, there's the huge story going on about heat waves, drought, water, going down in the reservoirs of California and the Southwest. 1,000-year floods happening like all over the globe, kind of all the time. I mean, not 1 ounce of coverage, not one. You know why? Because if you did, you'd have to actually, because it goes against your narrative. So you're not going to talk about it. Which makes you, I don't know. There's a big old gap in your news coverage there. But it makes people so depressed. Oh, you meteorologists have all become very doomy. Oh, you're really bumming me out. I don't like it. All right. Car drives through a wildfire in central Portugal. Maybe y'all have seen some of this footage. 2,000 firefighters are battling 4 major fires across the country. Scary footage, though. Imagine driving through a fire like this. I've never done that. There was one in Los Angeles a few years ago. Off the 405. Going up into, North Hollywood area. There were major wildfires all over the hills, and people were driving, to work or, while these fires were just engulfing everything. Yeah, LA has been spared for a couple of years. LA has been spared really, bad, kind of obvious climate change things. But a few years ago, it was pretty wild. Maybe it was the summer of 17 or 18. It was insane. I was out in it every day, and it was like there were several days where it was like 105, 107, 108. There were fires everywhere, all over the hills. I can't remember how many major fires there were all over Southern California. And I think it was the same year that the Dodgers were in the World Series. And the first day, the opening pitch of the World Series, which is like late October, the temperature was 103 degrees. I mean, that was a wild summer. And we've been... we had another, let me see, it was like next few summers, there was like 1 or 2 days where it got to like 120, in the 115, 120 range, but we didn't really get like obliterated like we did that summer. So we have been lucky. Now we're just getting like this steady heat right now, but we haven't seen a lot of the crazy jumps in temperature. But, it's kind of a matter of time. Gene says, Kevin, I remember that you were coughing from the smoke sometimes when you were live streaming. Then, yeah. yeah, there was a lot of smoke in the air. There was a lot of fires. There was just mayhem. When a lot of the signals were very, very clear and very obvious, it's kind of calmed down a little bit, but that's just a lull, right? That's just a break in the waves that are going to eventually crash on people. We're lucky because we're getting a little bit of a lull, and I am overjoyed at the lull, and I am just like thankful for all the normalcy I can grab onto while it's still available. I'm enjoying the heck out of whatever normalcy is left. And if that sounds a little cynical, it is. I mean, because, yeah, I don't know what anybody is doing on a large scale, or what they can do on a large scale to actually turn the tide. Not really sure. So, at this point, trying to sustain some normalcy until we can't, and then got to do something else, right? Then it's time to do something else. Deacon says, meanwhile, Florida is cooking, baby. All right. Today, July 16th, that's yesterday, July 16th in France broke 30 more records of highest monthly temperatures. These dozens will become hundreds in the next few days, and all-time records will also fall. Again, there's, a little bit silly because you aren't personally experiencing some heat or outsized heat, doesn't mean that, that's not journalism. I don't know, everything looks fine to me. That's not really journalism. But, okay. I mean, because I could actually go, oh, it's a nice summer day. It's kind of nice and warm. Everything looks fine to me. But that would be ridiculous. Deacon says we're now hitting 102, 109, feels like in central Florida, and it's mid-July. Ouch. And that humidity is kicking your butt, right? I know exactly what that feels like. And I got to tell you, I personally enjoy the dry heat myself. Let's see. All right. I know it's been fun. It's been a little bit short and sweet. But YouTube, I'm going to sign off because I'm going to talk about some other things. And appreciate you joining me every day. Again, the best possible way to support this channel is at the Cash App that you see right here on the screen. For the Rockfinners, I don't want to discourage you from tipping on the Rockfin, but I'm just saying it's way more difficult for me to get. Once I finally get your tip, it's been depreciated quite a bit. I'm just telling you that. So if you want to actually support the channel in a way that's more direct and less taxy, I would appreciate the Cash App is the best way to support the channel. And for those, there's maybe one or two people that still kind of give me tips on PayPal, but I would discourage you from giving me tips on PayPal because I don't know, PayPal is weird. I got some weird email from PayPal saying that like possibly there could be changes that would disrupt, you'd have to close your account or, but you get all kinds of weird spam these days. So I can't really tell what's real and what's not real. It's really sometimes difficult. But that being said, PayPal for right now is not a good way to support. So again, the best possible way is to hit me at the Cash App if you want to hit me with a tip. And I appreciate the tippers very much. All right, YouTube. Thank you so much. I will see you all You know, the next 2 days are going to be a little weird. I don't know when or if I'm going to do a show the next 2 days. So, YouTube, if I don't see you tomorrow, I will see you on Wednesday. All right. Peace out. I'm going to continue on Rockfin for a few